Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. If you wait just long enough, the usual suspects will always tell you what they think. They will always reveal their true thoughts and emotion towards you and everyone around you. The truth will always come out. And in this case, the truth is coming from Stacey Henley of The Gamer. Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed statement fails to say the only thing it needed to. Now, what could that possibly be? I bet you can't guess. Or, considering, as usual, this is the usual suspects we're talking about, I think you already know exactly where this is going. But hey, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and see for ourselves. For a statement that undoubtedly went through many hands before being released to the public, Ubisoft's recent defense of Assassin's Creed Shadows sure was messy. Why was it messy? They were at least upfront and honest, although, that honesty part, you be the judge. Ubisoft's recent defense of Assassin's Creed Shadows sure was messy. Maybe all those hands are even the reason why. And as my colleague Tessa Cower points out, yes, it was a defense, not an apology. Why would we expect an apology? The corporations aren't going to apologize for anything. It's a non-apology. But it also didn't say anything. Well, that's where a lot of people will agree with you. Oh no, it said, hey, this is a work of fiction, please buy our game. That's about it. At all. That's it. Didn't say anything at all, really. And that's the big issue. Statements like this, always have. And why major studios feel so toothless. Oh, God. In the face of Gamergate, here we go again. I did say it was the usual suspects, and the usual suspects constantly fall back when they have absolutely nothing to say, no defense, no reason, no receipts, no proof whatsoever. It's constantly falling back on good old Gamergate, the decades-old incident where, well, a bunch of gamers felt there was a little conflict of interest between game journalists and the studios. A massive bedroom-style conflict of interests. But no, it's because gamers don't like women. They don't like... Oh, fucking hell. Bunch of bigots. That's all you are if you're a video gamer player. Just a bunch of bigots. The crux of the statement is as follows. Oh, you actually read it. Good for you. Underline that Assassin's Creed always tries to respect the historical era it depicts. It's always been a work of fiction, at least the main character has been a made-up character in an area where they were born, or close to it, relatively close to it, acting out, doing fictional, fantastical stuff during historical events. Let's see, reminding everyone that the game is make-believe, except for the statement the developer said where you're going to learn historical stuff and it's going to be respectful. Okay, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Always respect the historical eras. Well, it didn't. Apologizing for some mistakes in the promo materials without specifying any, which almost certainly means a flag used without permission. You stole it. You stole it. I mean, yeah. That's what they did. It's not the only thing they stole. And not Yasuke, while being so vague that many will take it to mean Yasuke. Okay. And D, defending the choice to use Yasuke specifically because he has a mysterious history and that this will be addressed in the game anyway come November. Except that this is the very first time in Assassin's Creed history where one of the protagonists is an actual living person. Or that existed, because obviously Yasuke is not alive anymore. Oops. It's first time. So, here's the core problem with that statement. Oh, do tell us. Do tell us, the gamer. It doesn't say racism is bad. Is it supposed to say that? Upper Echelon brought this up, and a few people have brought it up, and I brought it up. There will always be a section of people who are racist, and they are bad. Okay? Always have been, always will be. There is a sect, small sect, of gamers, of people in general, who will never like this game because Yasuke, black man, is the main character in this game. Because they're racist. However, the vast majority of people complaining about this game is the historical accuracy of it, based on the statements from Ubisoft themselves, the editing war that was going on Wikipedia, their questions being labeled as bigoted and racist, and why didn't you just use a Japanese character as both protagonists? That's the complaint. But however, that is not something that the lamestream media outlets are going to even talk about. He's black, therefore racist. Let's see. It claims to be directed at Japanese fans first and foremost, but was initially posted in English with a Japanese message linked underneath. Okay. It's also easily the biggest game to be caught up in the swirling tornado of Gamergate 2. That's a big fat no. Not exactly. And if it is, it's the fault of Ubisoft and the defenders of Ubisoft and this game, or just people who want to get involved in the culture war. People were asking questions and they were slammed down as being ignorant, racist bigots. So that raises a lot of red flags, as usual. But of course, that's never something that websites like you and so-called journalists like you, what's your name again? I don't care. Where you at? Stacy Henley. See, I went back and checked. That you will never acknowledge because you don't, because you have no integrity. Here's the truth. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, we can't pass that up. Let's see, being Gamergate 2, and by posting this statement, Ubisoft is engaging with that sphere of gaming. No, they made a statement to the Japanese. It was okay. Its response has been found wanting to you, actually to a lot of people, because it was nonsense. It was just nonsense. Here's the truth of it all, because she's going to tell you the truth. She's going to tell you how you feel. Even though, you know, no doubt in my mind that you actually know how you feel, you know what your opinion is. But Stacy over here, she's going to tell you the truth. What you are denying, what you feel, your subconscious bigotry. Can't wait to see what this is. I have no idea if Yasuke was really a samurai. Apparently, neither do the historians. And for the most part, neither do they. Hey, good, you admit it. I could point to an expert who says he was, even though that expert was basing his information on false material. They could point to an expert who says he wasn't. Okay. We could flail around with Japanese technology we don't understand to prove our point, and neither of us would convince the other. It's not really, like, the vast majority of the complaints, again, are not over whether or not Yasuke was a samurai or not. It's that Ubisoft used a real character for the first time in their entire franchise, instead of using a male Japanese character for the game set in feudal Japan. Okay. I don't think it matters. Kind of does. And for the most part, neither do they. Kind of does. Assassin's Creed has never been about historical accuracy, except when it has historically accurate people in there. I don't know. How many, not as far as the fantastical stuff, like finding all these different alien inventions and technology and whatnot. You be the judge. And honestly, I don't think, how could I put this? The historical accuracy is not necessarily the most important. My main question, again, Japanese character in feudal Japan. Fake made-up character versus real-life black person in feudal Japan. Let's see. As for the idea that it's disrespectful to Japanese people, it is. There is a Japanese character in the game we can play already in Nio. True. Why not both characters? Why'd you have to pick a real-life character? It really comes across as an ideological checkbox, especially after all the controversy. We know Yasuke really existed in this time period. Okay. And to quibble about whether he actually had the rank of samurai is a line being drawn almost entirely because of the color of his skin. I don't believe it. Ghost of Tsushima features an anachronistic presence of haiku and katanas, while this crowd has no issues with it. Okay. Because the main character was Japanese in a video game set in Japan. I don't know. Just a thought. DEI is a code word. Oh boy, I bet this is going to get spicy. This began when people didn't like Yasuke because he was black. Of course it was. Absolutely. All the videos, all the statements, all the people stating exactly why they have a problem with this game and Ubisoft and Yasuke and the setting itself, everything around it. None of them are telling the truth. No one is telling the truth on this. You're closeted racists. Just admit it. because Stacy over here, she knows she can see deep into your heart and soul. You do have a soul, don't you, boy? Began because people didn't like Yasuke because he's black. Okay. Whether this is truly racially motivated hate or a too far gone obsession with labeling everything that doesn't look like you a DEI conspiracy. Okay. So I'm going to break this down real quick. Either motivated hate. Okay. So racially motivated hate, that would be racism. Obsession with labeling everything that doesn't look like you a DEI conspiracy. Stacy, that's racism. You worded racism twice there. What's the difference? Bingo! Why'd you put it twice there? Okay. Yasuke's skin color is the beginning and the end. Wrong. No, it isn't. But you're too disingenuous and bad faith in this argument that you're not even going to talk about it. It has become wrapped up. Why so-called journalists constantly doing op-ed pieces over and over on these websites and yet failing to do the most basic amount of journalism so that schmucks like me have to come behind them and do their job for them? How lovely. It has become wrapped up in a bigger crusade about whatever wrongs they think Sweet Baby Inc. Why do y'all keep bringing up Sweet Baby Inc.? They're not the only consultancy group out there, and they're not the only consultancy group that we talk about, that we're going after. It's in general the whole forced diversity in video games to the detriment of the story and gameplay. That is what this whole movement of Gamergate 2 is about, whether you want to admit it or not. And all you're doing with these articles on these websites, whether it's Kotaku, Polygon, The Gamer, CBR, all of the above, constantly spewing disingenuous bad faith rhetoric, trying to gaslight the few people that actually still come to your websites, to claim that it's rooted in racism. Gamergate 1 was obviously rooted in misogyny because gamers don't want women in their games. No, they don't want women sleeping with the developers or the journalists to get better scores. That's what they didn't want. And now this time, it's not a matter of wanting diversity in video games. No, we don't want forced diversity in our entertainment across the board, when it is to the detriment of the story. Yasuke's historical inaccuracy is a code word. Oh my god. Much like DEI. Oh, it's a dog whistle. That's what it is. It's a dog whistle. Much like DEI, just like woke, SJW, and political correctness. People don't even remember what political correctness is. Not this generation. I would like to apologize. My generation is unfortunately responsible for political correctness, and that's where all this bullshit started. It is. I do apologize. I would, you can accept it or not. My generation won't care. You can't argue with these people because they don't mean what they say. Oh, pot, meat, kettle? She does protest too much, methinks. So what is Ubisoft doing? They're trying to get better press for their video game that's more than likely going to sell millions of copies anyway, regardless of all this nonsense. The reason people are drawn to causes like Gamergate is not because they're all racist and violent to other superlatives. Hold on. We know radicalization was a major issue in the gaslighting. It's cause Gamergate speaks to a cause. Where's this going? To the point where politicians studied it and found nothing wrong, Stacy. Gaming can feel pretty bad these days. Long delays, mass layoffs because you have shit games. What would be causing these mass layoffs, Stacy? Maybe it's because the games are coming out and nobody's playing them, nobody's interested in them because the story suffers for the ideology. How about that? Lack of originality? See previous statement. Often stemming from the first two. Reliance on cash-generating live... Holy crap, we're agreeing on something. I get to agree with Stacy on this one. Reliance on cash-generating live service instead of making a fun single-player game, Hogwarts Legacy, that inspire no one leaves gamers feeling directionless. Huh? I read that wrong. Reliance on cash-generating live service games that inspire no one. That inspire no one. Okay, Gamergate grifters, you don't know what that word means because that's all you're doing right now. Gamergate grifters pick up on this and tell these impressionable souls, that DEI is the reason they feel this way. Now, here's the problem with that incredibly false statement. Channels like myself will be rather explicit with the things that we like and the things that we don't like and why. And I, on behalf of myself and most of the channels that I listen to, not one time is race brought up unless it doesn't make sense in a matter of having a black man being the lead character in a feudal Japan game. Or we don't bring up gender unless, of course, you're distorting and warping the female body to look more masculine, which is unappealing to gamers in general, not just male gamers. Ladies don't like it either. Corporations can't answer this. Their identity, by and large, is to stand for nothing. I'm agreeing with the gamer. I'm agreeing with Stacy. Hold on a second. That is true. The corporations do stand for nothing. They don't want to risk alienating a single player. Unfortunately, when they do that, they end up alienating everyone. But this desire to feel nothing and represent nothing leads to alienation too. Oh, where is this article going? I am confused. I went from thinking that she was an ignorant twat to now I'm on her side with this statement. How are we doing this? You lost me in the first half, but kind of pulling me back in here, Stacy. How are we doing this? This desire, let's see, not least from creative developers who do stand for nothing. Okay. Ubisoft says it continues to welcome criticism, lies, but why? Surely someone at Ubisoft understands that this is not good faith critique. Oh, here we go. We got to the part where I don't like her anymore. Let's see, not understand that this is not good faith critique, like the maps being too big or the boss being too hard. How about the story doesn't make sense? How about it doesn't make sense to have a real character from history in an Assassin's Creed game when you've never done it before, and to have him as the main protagonist in a feudal Japanese game in feudal Japan? It doesn't make sense. It pulled you out of the story. Why not? Ubisoft put a black person in the game. No. No, they did not. They did not. Ubisoft, like I said just a moment ago, I will say it one more time for the people in the back. You disingenuous twat. You want to talk about bad faith? This statement right here is bad faith. Ubisoft did not just put a black person in a game. Ubisoft took a real-life historical figure, put them into a franchise that has never used a real-life historical figure. Black man in feudal Japan. That's what they did. You want to put a black person in a game, there's nothing wrong with that. Haha. Nothing whatsoever. Context matters, Stacy, but you fail, much like every single other mainstream journalist, so-called journalist website that's failing over and over again. You fail to put things into context in an attempt to put a blanket statement on any and all criticism as racist, sexist, misogynist, and all those other istophobe words. And yet, we are the bad guys. Some people said a lot of racist things about it. And yes, they're pieces of shit who need to be shuffled off into the nothing. And Ubisoft said, we respect your feedback. No. Wow, you're coming at that whole statement in bad faith. This is not good enough for gaming today. Well, here's the thing. We say this all the time. You claim people said a lot of racist things about it. Show the receipts. Shame people. Let's bring shaming back into the equation, shall we? Point and laugh. Call them out over and over again. Ubisoft's statement does not address any of the actual issues, according to your ideologically cancerous brain, which is not the same as everyone else, coming at it with constructive criticism, actual constructive criticism. Actual issues around Assassin's Creed Shadows, and thus has little reason to exist, much like your website. Corporations need to learn that these people do not want to be in your community. Haha, so we're going to... never mind. They just want to create havoc. Of course they do. That's why you wrote this article. Because you want to stop creating havoc, even though that's what you're doing, pot meat kettle. We're all wearing the same clothes, just in a different aspect of the aspect of the argument. Appealing to them costs you other players and makes life worse for everyone. Oh, of course it does. When you appeal to the core audience, when you appeal to the majority, it costs you the minority of players. I don't mean that in a minority as in smaller group of players. You know what I mean? Especially if you made it this far because you're putting up with my nonsense. Statement alone probably doesn't move the needle because normal people don't care much about 4-page statements from video game developers. It's not that, and I'm going to end it on that when I'm done with this nonsense. It's not that normal people don't care. It's that normal people don't go to Twitter. Normal people don't generally go to YouTube and listen to me. People who are interested or find me entertaining in the least, if you do, thank you very much. I hope you have other entertaining people get some different opinions. Normies don't hear all this stuff. I'm sure there's a bunch of normies out there that will see this and go, okay, well, cool, why not? They don't know anything about the Yasuke drama, the samurai drama, or all the issues that the Japanese people have with this game and the controversies surrounding the game. But that's definitely not something you're going to bring up, is it? The fact that it's not just the white male gamer going after this and complaining about it. It's Japanese people. Documented, and the complaints surrounding where all this information came from. You're not going to address that because you have an agenda that gamers are getting tired of. These Gamergate 2 individuals that are sick and tired of being gaslit. Your accusations mean nothing anymore, and all we're going to do, much like I did in this video, is make a statement, follow all the things that you say, point and laugh at your nonsense as you slowly start flowing down the toilet bowl, spiraling out of control. Your website fails, your career fails, and you drift off into nothingness. But hey, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging to do. Oh, by the way, I appreciate you making it this far, and I hope to see you on the next one.